right, let me share my screen. Find the right page. Okay. Oops. People see my French lesson. That's not what I was looking for. There. Much better. Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Kubernetes Cluster API Azure weekly office hours. CapZ is a subproject of the SIG cluster lifecycle Kubernetes umbrella, and therefore we abide by their rules, which basically boils down to be nice to everyone else and try to raise your hand in the meeting so we don't talk over each other. If you wouldn't mind adding your name to the attendees list here, that'd be great. I'm relatively confident we don't have any new members or attendees this time, so I'll skip over that. And we can just go right into open discussion unless anyone has anything random to add. So the first open discussion topic is from John. Probably a lot of you have seen this already, but if you haven't, he's had the service operator proposal open for a while and gotten a lot of good feedback and revised it. So the larger thing here is, and I know probably all of you are aware of this, but just in case you're not, or in case someone's watching the recording, we need to move off of the current version of the SDK because essentially it's not going to be supported in another little over a month, actually a little under a month. So we want to get off of it as soon as possible. We have two ideas for how to do that. One of them I'll show you in a second. The other one is a little more ambitious or maybe future looking, which is this, moving to the thing called the Azure Service Operator, which is a sort of Kubernetes native-ish way to call Azure APIs. So we don't need to go too far into it here, but this is just John wanted to make people aware that this has had a lot of review and is in a stage where anybody can hopefully jump in here and have some feedback. Anybody have any questions or want to say anything about this? Some of you have probably looked at this as much or more than I have.
Just one comment, like I've not yet looked at like so religiously, but yeah, this looks like a good one because I feel this will enable us not to think too much about how authentication to Azure API will happen. Does that should be the goal, right? Like we really don't care how CapZ talks to the backend Azure API. So yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we didn't have to handle that.
Yeah. Thanks, John.
Yeah. Cool. All right. The next topic is related. I put it in here because John put that on there, but basically I finally got to a point where I have a proof of concept more or less working, although I want to change something today that I think could be better. But this is how maybe we move to the Azure SDK for Go. That sounds like it'd be pretty trivial, and most of it is, but they changed some fundamental things, like they don't return a future object now from the asynchronous APIs. They return a polar object, which is similar, but doesn't work quite the same way. So I explained it all here, but basically I took the approach of cloning, just copying the async framework that we're using, making some adjustments to make it work with Go generics, because that's in there, the SDK v2 API. And getting it all to work for just one service, whereas all the other services are still talking to SDK v1. So I think that's reassuring, and probably applies to the ASO proposal too, in that we don't have to go all at once. We can move piece by piece and hopefully not break things. Yeah, does anyone have any questions about this? Ashutosh?
So if I remember correctly, there is something known as long running operations that is put up into status field of some of the CRs. Do you think this might impact that?
I'm trying to just use that exact same mechanism because luckily basically the future objects, our own internal future objects that we're storing in the status field just have sort of a string field, an untyped field where they store a token. And so I'm just reusing that field instead of storing essentially the JSON representation of an auto rest future, which is what we currently do in the async. I'm storing a resume token. So it's even kind of fits better. But at that high level that you're talking about, it looks exactly the same. You actually, the async framework looks the same. It's only slightly lower than that, but things change much.
Yeah. So TLDR is we don't have an API change because of that. I said we do not have an API. Like, does this PR cause us to go through an API change?
No, I mean, not in terms of like our API diff check. No, it doesn't show up there. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
So hopefully it's not very disruptive. I'm going to tweak it a little more today and hopefully get something working that actually simplifies the code a little bit and fixes a border case I found. And then we can compare, and then it's an open question whether it's really worth putting our efforts in. So I think it'll be interesting to have people look at both. I didn't actually write a proposal, although if people want me to, I think that would be appropriate. I just sort of jumped into the code because it didn't look like there was that much distance between the two. But if it would be more appropriate to have a proposal, I'm happy to do that.
Sure. I'll go through this too.
Thanks. Any questions about that? Cool. Let's move on. Nawaz, you want to talk about Azure CNI testing?
Oh yeah. This was more of an update. Yesterday I was able to make a good breakthrough. I was able to update the cloud config of 2 worker nodes and get core DNS pods up and running. So from the Outlook, the workload cluster looked good and working. So yay, but I still need to figure out to what extent am I going to test it. Of course, I'll be supporting this Azure CNI with a test file or something. But yesterday was at least a good milestone to complete that. Yeah, the cluster was stable enough. So just wanted to update it out.
Awesome. That's reassuring. This has been a long time coming. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
Cool.
Thanks.
Any questions about Azure CNI anyone has? Okay, that's all we have on the agenda. We only have, well, I mean, we have about 2 weeks on the calendar until March 7th. But in practice, that really means stuff ought to land soon next week because you know how it goes at the end. It's hard to get stuff through CI and we need reviews. Some of these are pretty substantial still. So just saying, really don't give yourself until March 7th because then it's definitely not going to merge. I don't know that it's worth going through every single one on that's still on the milestone, but maybe if we just scroll slowly, if anyone has any updates to point out or wants to, yeah, go ahead.
One thing is I got blocked on the workload identity part due to one challenge regarding the cloud provider Azure thing. So cloud provider Azure actually did not yet support workload identity.
Oh.
So that we had some discussion on Slack and there is a implementation PR also that I have already raised. So I'm working on to fix to have a end-to-end test. And the idea is that as long as cloud provider Azure does not support workload identity, we go with user assigned identity. So I've updated the design document also last week. So this week I'm planning to complete this PR and open for review. And then we'll take a
Awesome.
decision if we want to get it to 1.8 or not.
Okay.
So a couple of unseen things. So sorry about that.
No, not at all. This is a huge amount of work, right? We all know. So so basically you're saying you'll have a better read on whether it can really land for 1.8 sometime next week.
Yeah, I mean, folks will be back, and I'll also hoping to like have the PR. That's the PR is still marked as WIP. So
Yeah.
One thing pending from my side is to have an end-to-end test. So if I add that, it should be good to open up for review for folks, and then we can take some decision next week.
Cool. This has been out here for a while, and I know they're working on it actively because I saw some commits get pushed yesterday. So I think there's still a fighting chance of that merging. This is related to my SDK v2 PR. And assuming that we decide to merge that, I'm going to close this and then open like an epic PR that says, okay, here's all the services we want to convert and make it, we'll check them off one by one because each of those will be a straightforward, but not necessarily trivial PR if we decide to go that way. And here's the other half of workload identity. We actually merged something yesterday that fixed the more fundamental Flex stuff because unfortunately I'm still stuck on this. I did a little brainstorming with Cecile, but at this point, I need some help. If anyone has an idea, it's easy to reproduce. Otherwise, I'll probably try and grab some pairing time with people soon.
I don't have
progress.
I don't have much idea about that, Matt, but I'll take a look at that issue and I can try that.
I don't want to defocus you. I know you have a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
But if you have a chance to look at it, it is at least easy to reproduce with Tilt. But I have no clue what's going on still at this point. But thank you. I don't know. Noaz, I saw that Dependabot actually updated the hack tools in a PR this morning. So I don't know if that means this is fixed or if we just don't understand.
Oh, I didn't get a. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's all. I just saw that there was a PR this morning that actually did modify the hack tools go mod. So I don't know what that means.
Oh, awesome. I didn't get a chance to look at that PR. I'll probably look at it and update this issue if we need this in this release.
Cool. Anything else that people want to comment on? I hope someone gets to this because I'm tired of seeing those warnings. I think I coached them far enough, hopefully. Oh, yeah, sorry, Willie, go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. About the tilt cluster flavor command, I think this should be an easy fix, but I think someone assigned it to themselves, but hasn't worked on it yet. Or, they didn't assign it, they just asked for the location of the file. Okay, so maybe I'll follow up and see if they are working on this, or because it would be nice to get this in.
Yeah, we could just ask because Swastik has worked on several other PRs.
Yeah.
So this should be easy for them, I would hope. Yeah, good call. All right. I mean, overall, we've gotten a lot done for this release, and probably we're going to be able to get a fair amount more done. So I think it's looking pretty good. All right, that's all we had written down. Anybody have any other random thoughts or?
Oh shit, there's sorry, I did not mean to unmute.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so there's been this bug that from the configurable scope PR that I merged that was causing the upgrade test to fail on test grid. And that PR is out and has a LGTM, so it just needs an approval. So it'll probably be good to, it just needs like a quick approval so we can get test grid green again.
This one here,
Yeah, that one.
I will take a look at it right after the meeting.
Cool, thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, we're a little maintainer constrained because Cecile's out and Jack is out and Ashutosh should be going to bed. All right, well, I guess that's it for this week unless anyone has anything else. Nope. All right, cool. Let's call it a day and have a great rest of the week. We'll see you next week.
Take care, folks.
Bye, everyone.
Get some free time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. See you.
Thanks.
See you.